What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm talking about another one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this time around it's Iron Man 2. So, in this sequel, Tony Stark has gone public with the fact that he's Iron Man. That's out in the open. Everybody's aware of the power of the technology that he's created, and that makes a lot of people really nervous, especially the government, because Stark is unwilling to reveal pretty much anything about the technology. He doesn't want to share it. He's worried that it'll fall into the wrong hands, which could definitely be the government's hands, through his perspective. He's not willing to share it. He's not willing to give it up either, which would be the other solution the government would like. At the same time, you also have these private military contractors who would love to get a hold of the technology because then they could profit from selling it when Tony Stark refuses to. And that's kind of how Ivan Vanko, played by Mickey Rourke, comes into the picture here. He's a rogue Russian scientist who's been able to crack Stark's technology to an extent, and he's been able to make some cool stuff. He actually launches an attack on Iron Man. It fails and he ends up arrested, but there was enough potential in his research and his work that one of the private contractors broke him out of prison so that he could continue his research and help them in building their program. And that's pretty much the story here. Is you have Stark struggling to keep his technology under control. You have all these outside forces either trying to take it away from him or to use it for themselves. The original Iron Man I really liked, even though I'm not a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I did like it. It felt like a comic book story. It had some action, but it was mostly about character development and, just building cool characters and setting up, these cool stories. And that kind of continues here, but this is also a transitionary point, in my opinion, because you start to see the poison of the cinematic universe creep into these movies. If you read the interviews, especially from Mickey Rourke, he talks about how much was filmed that was story related, that was pushing these characters forward and making for a richer story, and it was all cut so that they could shoehorn in more CGI action scenes and also put in these threads that tied Iron Man 2 into the bigger cinematic universe. I think that's a huge mistake. I think Iron Man 2, I think it's a good movie. I think it could have been a great movie if they would have just made the best possible Iron Man 2 instead of having to, force all these cinematic universe elements into it. And I also don't like, and I understand I'm in the minority here, because when I read the other reviews of this movie, it seemed like a lot of people were really happy that the focus was in on action. And I can understand that. But I don't think the action in this movie is really all that well done, especially for how much of it there is. I just think it turns into kind of generic action set pieces instead of being interesting comic book style, action. I like story in comic books. I like that because you can have a simple story that just has really interesting character development and, some nice twists and turns in it. This is just kind of a story that really suffers because it's always having to go back to more CGI, Avengers. I just wanted to see the story as it was intended, and unfortunately we didn't get that. And I think that if you read about it, that's what kind of led to some people that were involved in this being unhappy. Jon Favreau ended up not coming back to do the third, not serving as director for the third movie. Mickey Rourke was unhappy about, how much of the movie was cut out to make room for more CGI and more Avengers tie-ins. At the same time, while I am disappointed with that, I do think this is still a really fun movie, and that's what kind of makes it even more disappointing, is because of how good it could have been. But even as it stands, it's still a fun movie, and it still has that comic book feel. But you can definitely sense the Marvel Cinematic Universe wrapping its hands around these stories and choking all the fun out of it. I did not like Iron Man 3 at all. I'll do a separate review of that, but I still think the first Iron Man is better than this one, but I think there was the potential for this movie to be so much better than the first one. But it's still a fun watch. Mickey Rourke is really fun. I just am not a fan of the generic action scenes that are just littered with CGI and the focus on action over story. I would rather have character development and story development. So that's my review of Iron Man 2. If you want to read my full write-up of the movie, you can go to markfusion.com and check that out, as well as pretty much all the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are reviewed there, as well as tons of other superhero movies and all kinds of other stuff. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at markfusion. If you want to see what might be coming to this channel soon, you can go to Letterboxd and follow me at markfusion. I diary everything I'm watching there, so you can see what I've been watching and get an idea of what might be coming here soon. The best way you can help me out and support me if you like these videos is just to hit that sub button. It's a free, easy, direct way to support me, help me to keep making these videos. Like I've said, every time I do one of these, I know some of you are really passionate about the Marvel movies. I love the comic books, but I'm just not a super fan of most of these movies. But, you know, hopefully if you still like watching them, you'll drop me a sub, even if you disagree with me. Watching older movies is a huge way to help me out as well. There are some Marvel Cinematic Universe reviews up already. By the time you see this, there might even be, maybe all of them will be up. But anyway, and if you really, really want to go the extra mile, when you visit my site, you can use my Amazon links, and anything I make from that, I will put directly back into buying more movies to make more videos. So thank you so much for watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.